My whole goal is to provide awareness and education, and may my story be used for good. 1 in 8 women will get breast cancer. I'll say that again. 1 in 8 women will get breast cancer. So to all of you listening, I just encourage you, tell your loved ones all about the statistics that I shared with you, the messaging that I shared with you. Welcome to the One Pebble Podcast. Listeners, YouTube watchers, thank you for joining us today. It brings us great joy to have you be part of the One Pebble Podcast. As we all know, here in October, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I personally have a story with breast cancer awareness, and I've decided to share my story with you all today. Before I share my story with you, I want you to know that I'm not a physician. In no way, shape, or form am I giving you medical advice. Do go see your doctors. Do seek medical advice. I also want to say to all of you, I have tremendous reverence, admiration, respect, and my heart goes out to all of you women that have heard stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4 breast cancer. You all heard something that I never heard. I'm holding you all close, lifting you all up. And my story is a light story compared to your story. I also want to be mindful for all of the women that we've lost far too young to breast cancer. We're holding all of your families close. As I thought about my story for the last year, and I've just tucked it close into my heart, I've wondered, what does God want me to do with this story? What purpose does He have for me? What good may come of my story? And that is why I've decided to happily share and be vulnerable with all of you today. The goal is to build awareness. The goal is to bind together to talk about something that I don't think is talked about enough. And so hopefully this will be very informative. It'll help to make us all more aware, more proactive, and much good comes from talking about things together. Before I share with you my story, I do want to share with you some very interesting statistics that when I first heard them, they were staggering to me. I did not realize that 1 in 8 women will get breast cancer. I'll say that again. 1 in 8 women will get breast cancer. That means that each one of us has a 12 to 13% chance of getting this disease. Only 15% of the women who get breast cancer have a history of it in their family. Again, that was so amazing to me to hear that only 15% of women who get breast cancer have a history of it in their family. I want to praise and thank the American Cancer Society for all of the information, all of the research, all that they do to make a difference in this world. In doing research for this podcast, I found many of these statistics. They also have on their website breast cancer signs and symptoms. They say knowing how your breasts normally look and feel is an important part of your breast health. Although having regular screening tests for breast cancer is important, mammograms do not find every breast cancer. This means it's also important for you to know what your breasts normally look and feel like, so you'll be aware of any changes in your breast to know the signs and symptoms of breast cancer. And so today I'm going to talk to you about self-breast exams. I'm going to talk to you about mammograms and the great importance of being aware and early detection and being on top of something so prevalent in the lives of women. This is my story. In December of 2023, I had heart surgery at the Mayo Clinic. That is a story for a whole nother day that I plan to share with you all this February, as February is Heart Health Awareness Month. Just a few months after my heart surgery in the spring of 2024, I was at a function, and the message at that function was something that I had not heard much in my life. I'd heard it some, but not nearly enough. The messaging was, women, breast cancer is prevalent. Again, 1 in 8 of you will get breast cancer in your lifetime. Go home, do self-breast exams, get to know how your breasts look, get to know how they feel, and do not miss your yearly mammogram. Again, do not miss your yearly mammogram. In the past, when I'd heard that messaging from time to time, I thought that probably won't be me. That's something that I didn't take much stock in, although I've always had tremendous reverence for women, that this has been part of their story. But I decided I'm going to go home. I was 50 years old and decided I'm going to see this as extremely important. So that night, I found a lump on my breast. I called the doctor the next day, and the doctor said, come in, we are going to do a biopsy. So I went in, I did the biopsy, and the biopsy came back and they said, we think everything looks okay, but some of these cells might be on the fence. And so we're going to do further evaluation of these cells. So they sent the cells for further testing. That came back with something called atypical hyperplasia, which is atypical or precancerous cells in some of that testing. The doctor then called me and said, Kristine, you need to call a breast institution and you need to go and seek additional medical care and get their advice. So I went back to Mayo Clinic. I was so pleased with the amazing job that they did with my heart surgery. I decided to further my doctoring there. After I met with Mayo Clinic, the doctor quickly said, Kristine, we need to do a breast lumpectomy. We have found precancerous cells in the biopsy. 30% of the time, the rest of the lump will be cancer. Again, he said 30% of the time, the rest of the lump will be cancer. And so I was scheduled for a breast lumpectomy last October. Right after the surgery, that same afternoon, the surgeon came in and he said to my husband and I, he said, we want to share with you the results of the quick pathology. We're not certain, but the quick pathology looks to be non-invasive, but breast cancer. He said, we have put radiation in your chart. We have upgraded your chart from precancerous to non-invasive breast cancer. He said, we do need to wait for the final pathology to make a final result, but when you go home, we want you to be informed, we want you to be aware, and we want you to know how we think that this might turn out and what we believe it is today. So Jamie and I went home and we waited those 5 or 6 days. We tried to be still with God. We prayed a lot. We tried our best to continue to say, God, may we trust in you, and may we be okay in accepting with whatever your will is for me. May your will be done. We then got a call 5 or 6 days later. We happened to be together and we put the phone on speakerphone, and I'll never forget the Mayo surgeon saying to me, are you sitting down? I thought that he was going to tell us something worse because they had clearly prepared us to hear non-invasive breast cancer. He said, Kristine and Jamie, we're so excited to share with you that we not only had one pathologist, but 3 pathologists. They put their heads together. They were on the fence as to what the result was. And 3 of them decided we're going to downgrade this from non-invasive breast cancer back into the category of additional precancerous cells. So he said, we have taken radiation out of your chart. We have downgraded what we thought was going to be a worse situation to a better situation. And we have decided that the rest of the lump that we found is continued to be additional precancer. But again, he said, we're surprised. This doesn't happen very often, but we're excited and grateful to share with you the good news that we believe the rest of the lump is precancerous. Friends and family listening, I don't know if this was a miracle or not. I am not here to call this a miracle or not, but I'm mindful that I heard a great outcome. I heard something that many women don't have the opportunity to hear. I also have a small slice of guilt in knowing that I heard something far greater, again, than so many women hear. But I want to put good behind the story. I want to put purpose behind the story. And my whole goal is to provide awareness and education, and may my story be used for good. Mayo Clinic had said to me, because we found the precancerous lump, Kristine, because you've had 2 aunts with breast cancer, you have roughly a 30% chance, maybe a little bit more, but approximately a 30% chance of attaining breast cancer in your life. And so we need to start you on a medication called tamoxifen for 5 years. That will lower your risk of breast cancer. And so I'm currently on a medication to lower my risk, and I'm so grateful for that. Mayo Clinic also said to me, limit the amount of alcohol you drink. At 50 years old, I don't drink much alcohol anyways, but they said alcohol has a clear connection to breast cancer. And so that is something that they're making all women aware of. They said, continue to get exercise, continue to eat well, and there's certain things that you can do to prevent breast cancer. But they reminded me, self-breast exams are so important. Regular mammograms are so important. Now because of being higher risk, I am on surveillance for mammograms and breast MRIs every 6 months to try to ward against something that could possibly happen. But I will tell you, I was on a recent trip to Asia, and I was helping to do auctions and raise money for the ultra poor. I was not the gift to the ultra poor. The ultra poor were the gift to me. They sharpen me. They center my heart. But I'm reminded that the billions of ultra poor in this world, they don't have the Mayo Clinics of the world. They don't have the surgeons. They don't have the tamoxifen. They don't have the mammograms. Maybe some ultra poor get help from physicians, but I think it's safe to say that most don't. How blessed we are to have the medical care that we have, to have the information that we have, to have the awareness that we have. And that is something that I don't take lightly. And I couldn't be more grateful for those resources. So to all of you listening, I just encourage you, women, do self-breast exams. Do not miss a mammogram. To the men that are listening, the older people, the younger people, tell your loved ones all about the statistics that I shared with you, the messaging that I shared with you, because I think that we need to, again, build awareness. We need to talk about this more. We need to have as much awareness, education, prevention as we possibly can so that we don't have to continue to hear that 1 in 8 women will get breast cancer. And I also want this to be a story of hope, a story that's positive. Not everyone is going to hear breast cancer. And most people that do hear breast cancer, if it's caught early enough, and again, I am not a physician, but it is my understanding, and I think safe to say, that if breast cancer is caught early enough, oftentimes that is the key to a successful outcome. And I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me with my story. My story comes with tremendous purpose, tremendous, I'm just super thankful. I'm humbled. I'm thankful. And to all of you out there with a much more difficult story than I had, please know I admire you. I'm inspired by you. I'm thinking of all of you at this time as I share. And thank you for the courage in this life. You're beacons of courage, and we're all looking to you. But from a faith standpoint, my opinion is we don't have a harming God. We don't have a God that wanted to harm me. We don't have a God that wants to harm anyone. But this side of heaven, we don't often know the master tapestry. We don't know God's plan behind and the reasoning behind why these things happen. I also think that for all the people that you know that have had breast cancer or currently are walking a breast cancer journey, reach out to those women. Let's encourage them. Let's call them. I'm speaking for myself and thinking of all the women that I can think of. Let's text them. Let's call them. Let's encourage them. I forgot to wear my pink today. I meant to wear my pink, but it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it has been so wonderful to share. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to listen today. I don't take your time and heart lightly. May God's will be done with my story. Blessings to each and every one of you. Thank you. This has been the One Pebble Podcast. One pebble, so many ripples. What will you do to make a difference?